Welcome back to Curiosity Made Me Wonder. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, looking out your window and realizing something impossible has happened. The Earth is no longer a giant sphere. Instead, it's perfectly flat. Not just flat where you're standing, but flat everywhere. No curves, no globe, no round horizon stretching into the distance. The entire planet has somehow transformed into one enormous flat surface. At first, it might not seem like a huge deal. After all, when you're standing on a beach, walking through a city, or driving down a highway, the Earth already appears flat. You can't actually see its curve with your naked eye because our planet is so massive. So would anything really change? The answer is yes. Almost everything. Let's find out why. The first and biggest problem would be gravity. Right now, gravity pulls everything toward the center of Earth's mass. Since Earth is roughly spherical, that means down is different depending on where you are. People in Nigeria, Brazil, Australia, Canada, Japan, or Antarctica all feel gravity pulling them toward the center of the planet. That's why everyone can stand upright without feeling like they're sideways or upside down. It's also why oceans stay attached to the planet and why the atmosphere wraps evenly around the globe. But if Earth suddenly became a flat disk, while keeping the same amount of mass, gravity would behave very differently. Near the very center of the disk, gravity would mostly pull straight downward. Life there might feel somewhat familiar. However, as you traveled farther from the center toward the edges, gravity would no longer pull straight down. Instead, it would begin pulling you diagonally toward the middle of the world. Imagine trying to stand on a hill that's getting steeper every kilometer you walk. Eventually, it would feel like you're constantly leaning uphill just to stay balanced. Cars would struggle to drive. Buildings would need to be constructed at strange angles. Walking would become exhausting. Near the very edge, gravity could pull so strongly toward the center that standing upright might become nearly impossible. If you dropped a ball instead of falling straight down, it might roll inward toward the center of the Earth. Now think about the oceans. Water always moves toward the lowest point under gravity. Today, Earth's oceans spread around the globe because gravity pulls equally toward the center everywhere. But on a flat Earth, gravity would slowly drag enormous amounts of water toward the middle of the disk. Over thousands or millions of years, the center of the planet could become one gigantic superocean. Meanwhile, areas closer to the edge would become increasingly dry. Many rivers would reverse direction. Entire coastlines would disappear. Some countries would be completely underwater, while others would turn into vast deserts. Marine ecosystems would collapse. Fish, whales, coral reefs, and countless sea creatures would lose the environments they depend on. But that's only the beginning. The atmosphere would also begin changing. Gravity is what keeps Earth's air from drifting into space. If gravity became uneven across a flat planet, the atmosphere would become uneven too. The air near the center could become much thicker, making breathing easier but increasing air pressure. Closer to the edges, the atmosphere might become thinner and thinner, making it difficult, or even impossible, for humans and animals to survive. Weather patterns would become completely unpredictable. The jet streams that move around our spherical planet would no longer behave the same way. Powerful winds could constantly blow toward the center. Some regions might experience endless storms. Others might barely receive any rain at all. Speaking of rain, the entire water cycle would change. Clouds form, move, and release rain based on temperature differences, Earth's rotation, and atmospheric circulation. Without the same shape and rotation, rainfall patterns could become chaotic. Some places might receive constant flooding. Others could go years without a single drop of rain. Agriculture would collapse across huge portions of the world. Food shortages would quickly become a global crisis. Then there's day and night. On our real Earth, day and night happen because the planet rotates once every 24 hours. As Earth spins, different parts of the globe face the sun while others face away. It's a beautifully simple system that has worked for billions of years, but a flat Earth couldn't create the same sunrise and sunset for every location unless the sun behaved in an entirely different way. Would the sun circle above the disk? Would it move in strange patterns? Would everyone experience daylight at the same time? No realistic model of a flat Earth can reproduce all of the observations we make every single day. Some places might have sunlight almost constantly. Others could spend long periods in darkness. The familiar rhythm of morning, afternoon, evening, and night might disappear altogether. Seasons would also become incredibly difficult to explain. Today we have seasons because Earth's axis is tilted by about 23.5 degrees as it orbits the sun. When your hemisphere tilts toward the sun, it's summer. When it tilts away, it's winter. That's why Australia has summer, while Europe has winter. A flat Earth wouldn't naturally create this pattern. Some regions might stay hot all year. Others might remain permanently cold. The balanced seasonal cycle that supports forests, crops, and wildlife could vanish. Plants depend on changing daylight and seasons. Animals migrate according to these cycles. Without them, ecosystems around the world would begin collapsing. Space exploration would also become a mystery. Satellites orbit Earth because gravity pulls them into curved paths around a spherical planet. If Earth were flat, those orbits wouldn't work the same way. Many satellites could crash or drift away into space. Without satellites, modern civilization would be affected almost immediately. GPS navigation would stop working accurately. Weather forecasting would become far less reliable. Television broadcasts, satellite internet, international phone calls, disaster monitoring, and many military systems would all be severely disrupted. Even something as simple as using your smartphone's map could become impossible. Air travel would also face serious problems. Today's flight routes are carefully planned using the geometry of a spherical Earth. Pilots rely on satellite navigation, Earth's shape, and atmospheric conditions. If Earth suddenly became flat, flight paths would need to be completely redesigned, assuming airplanes could even navigate safely in the new environment. Navigation at sea would become equally confusing. For centuries, sailors have used Earth's curvature, stars, and modern GPS to travel across oceans. Many of those methods would no longer work. Even astronomy would change dramatically. The moon, planets, eclipses, and constellations all appear exactly as they do because we live on a rotating spherical planet orbiting the sun. A flat Earth would struggle to explain lunar eclipses, the changing positions of stars in different hemispheres, the phases of the moon, and countless other observations that people have recorded for thousands of years. Scientists have known Earth is round for over 2,000 years. Ancient Greek scholar Eratosthenes even calculated Earth's circumference around 240 BC using nothing more than shadows cast by the sun in two different cities. His estimate was astonishingly close to the modern measurement. Since then, sailors have watched ships disappear hull first over the horizon. Astronauts have photographed Earth from space. Thousands of satellites orbit our planet every day. People have circumnavigated the globe countless times by sea and by air. Physics, astronomy, geology, and space exploration all point to the same conclusion. Earth is not flat. It is an oblate spheroid, slightly flattened at the poles and slightly wider around the equator because of its rotation. That shape isn't just an interesting fact. It's one of the reasons gravity works the way it does. Oceans stay where they belong. Our atmosphere surrounds us evenly, and life has been able to thrive for billions of years. So if Earth suddenly became flat, it wouldn't simply look different. Gravity would change. The oceans would shift. The atmosphere would become unstable. The weather would grow chaotic. Seasons could disappear. Satellites would fail. Navigation would break down. And the world we know would become almost unrecognizable. Thankfully, every scientific observation we've ever made confirms that our planet remains exactly what it has always been, a beautiful, rotating world traveling through space. This has been Curiosity Made Me Wonder. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And tell us in the comments, if Earth really became flat overnight, what do you think would happen first? In our next episode, we'll imagine what Earth would look like if it had as many moons as Jupiter. Until next time, stay curious.